Welcome back, Halo followers. Today I got a rapid fire breakdown of Halo Infinite's multiplayer gameplay. These are tons of details that I noticed after looking at these trailers over maybe 100 times, so lots of small little things that you probably missed, as well as a Samurai Spartan. What the heck is going on here? This is amazing stuff. So guys, be sure to smash that like button blue and subscribe. Join me on the journey of following Halo Infinite. Alright, customizing our own Spartans is actually really in-depth this time around, more than we've really ever seen before. From being able to change our gloves, our armor coatings, our visors, helmets, shoulders, shins, thighs, and adding really anything, including prosthetic legs and arms. So you could be a cyborg Spartan if you want. We'll actually be able to modify our very own AI to be used in multiplayer, modifying their appearance, voice, and personality. Although details are sparse, it appears that they'll be giving us helpful, personalized tips during multiplayer gameplay. Now, the Repulsor is a part of a new equipment lineup coming. In fact, more equipment is going to be coming after launch, just a few months after. But one of the new ones is called the Repulsor, and this can actually be obtained by defeating other enemies that might drop it, or scavenge on the battlefield like classic Arena Halo. The Repulsor fires back incoming projectiles, but also you can use the Repulsor to rocket jump as seen here. Speaking of respawning weapons and vehicles though, they're done by orbital drop pods, at least in Big Team Battle 2.0, and also Pelicans bringing in fresh vehicles that all players on the battlefield will probably be alerted by, not just visually, but also through the commander. And there's also the drop wall, which looks significantly different than the one that we saw last year. But certainly this drop wall can be used offensively or defensively in new creative ways that expand Halo's gameplay. Now, we do know that the whole multiplayer is free to play, but there will be a battle pass with launch, and that does in fact cost money. The first season of DLC will be themed the Heroes of Reach, with a lot of Reach armor as we've seen before, but there will actually be special event armors, including the Yori armor set, including the Wakazashi, if I said that correctly, which is basically a short katana. Yes, the swords are coming back to Halo 3's customization. Perhaps we can expect a full-on katana, a full-length sword on the back like in Halo 3. All this unlockable content will be done through the base game, through the season pass, but when it gets more into the battle pass stuff, we're actually not quite sure, but we do know that some armor is exclusively unlockable through the game and cannot be purchased with real money. Likely inspired by the Hayabusa armor from Halo 3, this armor is being treated kind of like Recon and will probably be kind of difficult to unlock. A special vehicle was spotted during the multiplayer overview. Is this just the debris of a Wraith? Or is it a Marauder, a new vehicle as seen in Halo Wars 2? Or could it be a Prowler like from Halo 3 but banished theme? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. You can actually grapple shot onto vehicles, which is named by the announcer Grappleshot, including the returning Wasp, and as we learned earlier this year, you can Grappleshot onto Banshees. The Skewer is a harpoon-like weapon, being pretty big for even Spartans. If you look closely enough, it is big, but it is like a physics gun of sorts, and will be able to top Warthogs or even one-shot Spartans. Hopefully, at some point, it will be able to harpoon Spartans into the walls. Bots are confirmed. Now, we don't quite know a whole lot about how this is going to work, or if they're going to work in custom Forge maps, but we do know that they will be available in custom games and multiplayer, whereas there is vacant real player spots, there will be bots. So every game will always have 24 players, just not all of them may be human. But you can actually customize bot difficulty in the Academy training mode, where you can customize bot difficulty, what they're holding, what they're using, and this could actually be a really great way to get some practice in. Bots, by the way, are confirmed to fill in empty Fireteams, which we really know nothing about, but most likely is a squad system of 4 players per squad in Big Team Battle. Much like in Battlefield, you'll be able to spawn on your teammates if they're not near any enemies or action. On June 24th, the last Thursday of this month, we'll be getting another Inside Infinite update, which will be a big blog post as always, and will probably include some new screenshots and gameplay, and answer a lot of questions that we are basically been asked by 343 to ask them on Twitter about. So Halo Infinite will also support split screen on Xbox and PC, plus there will be crossplay and cross progression at launch. So if your friends get on Xbox and you get on PC, you can play together. Flights are also confirmed once again, and basically has been hinted at coming in July, but we really don't know, but it looks like that is still on the roadmap, thank goodness. Jeff Steitzer, the original Halo multiplayer announcer, is returning. This Warthog here at this moment is actually driving without a back wheel. Also, vehicles will have a doomsday clock of sorts, where once the vehicle gets enough damage, it will catch on fire, and then a few seconds or moments later, it will explode. But once a vehicle is damaged in a specific way, like losing a back tire, the handling will change and adjust to that. So when you take fire in a vehicle, be prepared for the handling to change, and that could drastically influence the game in the end, couldn't it? The Razorback is the Warthog's cousin, but it looks much more beefier and maybe a little bit slower, as in the gameplay we see that it moves at varying speeds, although this may have just been a cinematic effect or just slowing down to see what is actually happening here. But we do know that the Razorback can carry weapons, objectives, so yes, you can put the flak into the back of the Warthog if you so choose, or you can ride with it in the passenger seat, or fusion coils. You can put fusion coils, if you're dumb enough, into the Razorback to be thrown at someone else later, if you really wanna. This Warthog will actually carry up to 4 players. That's 1/3 of the team, since this game is confirmed to have 24 players total. That makes 12 versus 12 games. In the multiplayer clips, no medals were shown, although this is probably because the game is still in development, and not so much that medals aren't returning, because we know they are. The Halo 1 flag icon is also returning to Infinite. If you thought this looked familiar, it's like a snake in a square, but really cool stuff to see this returning. Red versus blue colors are gone, and this is pretty big. It's to basically compensate for the armor coating so people can see their actual colors that they want to play as in multiplayer despite being on team games. So this is certainly very interesting. It will be an outline system that can be modified in the options in the menu, and probably mostly for visually impaired people that might not be able to see red and blue so well, so that will need to be adjusted, but it is a cool feature for the rest of us. So I believe if you want to play on the red team for your entire Halo Infinite career, you can do that. Everyone else is probably going to be seeing different colors, but we'll know who is the enemy and who is allies. It's a popular theory right now that this map is actually Valhalla 3.0 based on the old Valhalla, and that makes sense. It's the next iteration of the Blood Gulch family, most likely being a big team battle map, which we do know will be included in Halo Infinite, unlike in Halo 5, which had no big team battle maps. But this is basically compensating for 24 players, so of course it looks different. It's got some choke points between these two bases, probably down in the valleys and ravines, and has some new features and landing sites for the Pelicans, so something to look forward to there. Now, the hex walls that I've grabbed about so much actually look properly implemented into the environment. We can probably expect this in campaign as well, but take note of the rocks and dirt overlay, helping the blend and transition in the environment look more natural. And I'm hoping we actually see some foliage and vines on these as well. You can grapple hook flying fusion coils that I believe in this shot at least was thrown by another player, because yeah, you can just walk up to fusion coils and throw them. So before, fusion coils were a strategic item on the map to be weighted, to be used on someone walking near a power weapon or around a big important corner. But in this case, they're actually kind of like weapons that are kind of dangerous to hold, because if someone shoots it before you throw it, you're the one that's going to blow up. So pretty interesting strategy. Really like the sandbox there. A new weapon was spotted right here by one of the viewers in my stream. This could be a shock rifle. I believe it's a UNSC weapon. Could also be a banished weapon. Kind of hard to tell with this shot. Sliding, clamber, and sprint are all confirmed inherent abilities, at least from what we saw in the gameplay. There might be a classic mode where no abilities will be in the game, but these are things that we have seen in Halo Infinite's multiplayer reveal. The Sidekick has a new appearance change. I have no idea if this was because I yelled from the top of the world, please, please, please change it, but enough people apparently got through to 343 and they have changed it for good. Upon shooting another player, that part of their body glows with shield effects, which is great visual feedback. If you're shooting on the head or the arm or the leg, you will know that instantly as you are landing those shots. And although this is a subtle feature, it could be very helpful in the heat of the moment to know if your shots are really landing on the part that you want to shoot, which is probably going to be the head, right? Well, the chopper is also confirmed to be in the game. The chopper is a super beloved vehicle from Halo Reach, and I'm so glad to see it returning. And it's got some really cool new features. It looks like it also has the boost as we saw back in Halo 3. We also see that the Rocket Hog is in the game. Not a big surprise there, but notice when the chopper blows up in this shot, the front part will barrel out like a rogue tire rolling down a hill, or in this case, up the hill. But it's a really cool thing that when the chopper blows up, that tire, or the front part, the wheel of the chopper will roll around, and that could actually splatter some people. It could cause some crazy shenanigans later. Grenades and flags are getting trails behind them if you haven't noticed, and why not? They're absolutely awesome to see. Assassination animations weren't seen in the gameplay at all, although I believe they're likely to return because essentially this game is free to play and they need to microtransaction every cosmetic thing possible. So I would expect them to be returning in this game. This new authentic looking Forerunner weapon, although some people believe it's a UNSC weapon, I think it looks more like a Forerunner weapon, especially with what it does, has two firing modes. One is a weaker horizontal spray, or you can charge it up, probably holding down the trigger button, for a focused attack that can bounce around walls and maybe actually has some kind of tracking technology to it. So kind of like the Needler, it can maybe track onto enemy players. But once they get hit with this charge up, they can actually digitalize and incinerate opponents. So this looks like it might be a Forerunner version of the railgun, perhaps, because it looks pretty powerful. So it's probably gonna be one of those power weapons you want to look for on the map. Snipers now reveal a glow, and they probably only do this when zoomed in. So this adds a whole new layer of strategy when you want to zoom in. And, you know, just like in real life, this does happen. It does give a glare off when you use a sniper scope sometimes. So yeah, this can give away your exact position and get you killed. So adds a whole new layer of strategy to using this weapon. On this segment here, it pretty much confirms that armor coatings will be limited as we feared, meaning that you can't get multiple armor coatings and use them for different parts of your Spartan. You're going to have to settle on just one skin for your Spartan. But as seen throughout the gameplay, you can actually see multiple Spartans wearing multiple armor coatings that do have different reflections, different textures to each one of them. So certainly this is something that will look really cool and is probably innovative, but I'm kind of bummed out that, yeah, this pretty much confirms that one armor coating per Spartan. Also, on the battle rifle, there is a difference between the crosshairs, and I really wouldn't be surprised at this point if crosshairs were something added to the customization of your Spartans, and perhaps being able to modify crosshairs for different weapons would be a pretty neat and harmless feature at the end of the day. So I would like to see more about that. That might be something we can expect in customization. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't already to get notifications on all the latest Halo news and entertainment from here on Halo Follower. Guys, thanks so much for watching. This has been my big breakdown of the Halo Infinite E3 campaign and multiplayer reveals. So campaign is next, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully you learned something new. I'll catch you guys in the next one soon. Peace.